The country's top engineers have checked it 10 times, but the real problem still hasn't been identified. A machine worth crores is lying broken and shut down, and no one can figure out what happened. Ma'am, if you give me permission, I can fix it. What are you saying? You'll fix such a huge machine? Do you even have any idea how expensive and dangerous this engine is? Engineers from the country and abroad have been working on it for months, and even they can't understand where the fault is. And you're saying you'll fix it in 5 minutes? The system failed. Core pressure error.
Enough is enough now. I will prove my capability and get this engine running to show everyone.
It was March 2024, and the place was Seattle's tech industrial area. Normally, this area is filled from morning with the sounds of machines and the hustle of work. But that day, an eerie silence had spread inside the factories. Omega Tech Industries, considered one of the country's biggest automation companies, was completely drowned in tension that day. This was the same company whose machines were working not just in the country, but in many big industries abroad, and it had a strong reputation in the field of high-tech automation. In the factory's main production hall, the company's most important and most expensive machine, Automaster Jet 5000, stood silent. Built at a cost of around 25 crores, this machine was considered the backbone of the company's entire production system. Because it had been shut down for the last 12 days, the factory's whole production line had come to a halt, and the company was suffering losses of lakhs every day. The situation had become so bad that even foreign technical experts had been called in. The machine's software was reinstalled. Sensors and wiring were replaced. The hydraulic system was opened up and reassembled. But despite all this, the machine still wouldn't start again. The red warning light on top of the machine kept flashing continuously. The entire team of engineers had been working day and night around that same machine. But what the real fault was? No one could figure it out. Tension inside the company kept increasing. Because this machine was no longer just a machine. It had become a question of the company's reputation and future. On the top floor of the factory, in the conference room, James stood in front of his team. The pressure of responsibility was clearly visible on his face. A light beard, messy hair, and worry in his eyes. All of it showed that the company's trouble hadn't let him rest peacefully for many days. On the screen in front was the report of that same shutdown machine. Every attempt to fix which had failed so far, James said in a serious voice. It's been 12 days. We've checked the machine in every possible way, but the real problem still hasn't come to light. If we don't find a solution today either, we'll have to stop the project. The engineers present in the room started looking at each other. The atmosphere was heavy because everyone knew this machine was the company's biggest strength. A senior engineer stepped forward and said, "Sir, we've tested everything from the control system to the hydraulic unit. There doesn't seem to be any major fault in the machine. But the moment we try to start it, the system fails. All right, today it will be completely rechecked one last time. I want a clear answer by evening. Will the machine run or not?" After the meeting ended, James walked down the factory stairs and headed straight toward the main gate. His mind was still tangled in worry about the machine. As James reached near the gate, his eyes fell on a thin, lean boy sitting by the roadside. The boy didn't look older than 16 or 17. His clothes were old and covered in dust, and in front of him was a small shoe polish box. He was shining people's shoes. But his attention was less on his work and more on the machines visible inside the factory. The boy's name was Noah. Every time the red warning light inside the factory flashed, his gaze would fix in that direction. There was a different kind of seriousness on his face, as if he was understanding the machine's condition. He muttered to himself, "These people are looking at the machine's software and sensors, but the real trouble is hidden behind the control system." The people standing around weren't paying attention to his words. To them, he was just a poor kid whose words held no value. Noah sat by the roadside during the day, shining people's shoes. That was his work and his only source of income. But as soon as evening fell, in one corner of the city, there was his grandfather's small garage. Old machines, motors, and tools were kept all around. It was there that Noah had learned to open machines, put them back together, and understand their condition just by listening to their sound. His grandfather had once worked in a big industrial company, so he had deep experience with machines. He often used to tell Noah, "Every machine has its own mind, son. If you listen carefully, it will tell you itself where it's hurting." Noah hadn't just heard these words, he had understood them too. The condition at home wasn't easy. His mother Seema had been sick for many months. The cost of medicines was so high that earning every day had become a necessity for Noah. Noah knew that to change his situation, he needed not just hard work, but also the right opportunity. For many nights he had been thinking about how he could somehow get inside that factory and take a look at the shutdown machine. He was confident that if he got even one chance to understand that machine, he could catch the fault, and maybe that would change the direction of his life. As soon as morning came, he headed toward the factory's main gate. Seeing the security guard standing there, he paused for a few moments. Then, gathering courage, he said, "Brother, just let me see the machine for 5 minutes. I can tell you what's wrong." The guard looked at him. Then with a light laugh, he said, "Big engineers are sitting here, and you think a kid like you will fix the machine. Get lost from here." Noah was pushed out. It was afternoon time, and chaos had erupted in the machine hall of Omega Tech Industries. Engineers were constantly looking at data on the machine's control system. They were changing settings, and with every new attempt they would tie their hopes. But as soon as they tried to start the machine, the same message would pop up on the monitor in red letters. System failure, core pressure error. This warning had kept the entire team puzzled for the past many days. James was standing below watching all this. It was clear on his face that his patience was now running out. He couldn't understand why, despite so much effort, the machine still wasn't running. Just then his eyes fell on that same boy sitting near the factory gate whom he had seen in the morning too. That boy was Noah. He had a shoe polish brush in his hand. But today his attention wasn't on his work. He was just staring toward the shutdown machine standing inside the factory, as if something was making sense to him. James asked the guard standing nearby, "Who is this boy? Why does he keep sitting here?" "Sir, he polishes shoes outside, but he says he'll fix the machine. Seems crazy." James looked at the boy carefully for a few seconds. There was no joke on his face, but confidence. Maybe for the first time, James felt that this boy wasn't just sitting here for no reason. He called Noah over. Looking at the boy, James asked, "Why do you keep staring at the machines inside again and again?" "Sir, I've been watching machines since childhood, so I try to understand them." "But your work is to polish shoes, right?" "Yes, sir, it's out of necessity. I have to do this to run the house and for my mom's medicines." "Do you think you know what the real fault in the machine is?" "Sir, there's no problem in the machine. The problem is in the system that runs it. Maybe someone stopped it in the wrong way. If we let you go near the machine, will you be able to tell where the problem is?" "Sir, I'll give it my full try. If I'm wrong, I'll leave from here myself." It was clearly visible in his eyes that he wasn't joking. He really knew something. James turned to security and said, "Take him inside. Today let's see how right this kid's understanding is." When Noah entered the factory for the first time, his steps automatically slowed down. For him, this place was nothing less than a dream. The Automaster Jet 5000 machine standing in front was so huge that it looked like it was stretching up to the ceiling. Thick pipes, heavy motors, shining control panels, and cables everywhere. Just looking at all this made it clear that this wasn't any ordinary machine. It was the life of the entire factory. The red warning light on top of the machine was still on. The same red light that had been troubling the whole company for the past many days. Noah stood there for a few moments. Then slowly he went closer to the machine. He placed his hand on the machine's cold metal frame, as if trying to feel its condition. Some engineers standing nearby were whispering among themselves, "Sir, don't take such a big risk. This boy is just wasting time." But James raised his hand and silenced everyone. There was no strictness on his face, only curiosity. He felt that there was no joke in this boy's eyes. There was a different kind of confidence. Noah was now carefully examining every part of the machine. Sometimes he looked at the pipeline, sometimes toward the control unit. Concentration was clearly visible on his face, as if he was trying to hear some answer from the machine. Noah slowly walked around the machine, carefully inspecting every part. A few seconds later, he stopped at one spot. Looking toward the machine, he said, "Sir, this machine didn't shut down on its own. Someone deliberately stopped it." The engineers standing in the room started looking at each other. One engineer immediately asked, "How can you say that?" Noah pointed toward the lower part of the machine and said, "Its main pressure valve is not in its proper position. It has been slightly turned so that the moment the machine starts, the pressure system fails." A senior engineer said in surprise, "That's impossible. It's not easy to reach that part." Noah replied in a calm voice, "If you open the third screw on this panel, the inside setting will be clearly visible." The engineer opened the screw, and as soon as the panel was removed, everyone's eyes went to that valve. It was indeed half-turned. Complete silence fell over the entire hall. Noah continued, "And there's one more issue. The lower pipe section is also not fitted properly. That's why the machine's pressure flow isn't building correctly." He took a flashlight and shone it on the pipeline. The engineers bent down to look and realized the pipe was indeed slightly shifted. For the first time, seriousness appeared on the engineers' faces. They understood that this wasn't just a technical fault, it could also be tampering from inside. Noah reached the junction box on the right side of the machine. The moment he placed his hand on the box, he immediately pulled it back. Seriousness was clearly visible on his face. Looking toward James, Noah said, "Sir, if the machine is started right now, a big accident could happen." James asked in shock. What's the danger? Noah replied in a calm voice. The wiring in this junction box has been connected wrong. The positive and negative wires have been attached in reverse. That's why there's a risk of short circuit in the system. One engineer immediately opened the box to check. The wiring inside was indeed reversed. Now, complete silence fell over the entire hall. Everyone understood that this wasn't just a machine breakdown. It could be the doing of someone from inside. Noah said softly, Sir, if you trust me, give me a few minutes. I can fix this. James said without thinking. Okay, start working. Tools were placed in front of him. Noah carefully separated the wires. Then he began connecting them in the correct order. He also straightened the lower pipeline and set the main valve back to its proper position. In just a few minutes, the pressure levels showing on the machine's monitor started stabilizing. Noah took a deep breath and said, Now the machine can be started. James gestured for him to press the button himself. Noah closed his eyes for a moment, as if saying something to the machine, and then pressed the start button. For a few seconds, everyone went quiet. Then suddenly a sound echoed from inside the machine, and the red warning light went off, replaced by a green light. The entire machine came back to life. The moment the machine started, the atmosphere in the entire factory hall changed. The place that had been filled with tension and fear for the last 12 days was now filled with sounds of relief. The engineers were looking at each other as if they couldn't believe their own eyes. For the first time, someone looked toward that poor boy with respect. James was still standing quietly. Along with surprise on his face, there was also a strange kind of peace. He slowly called Noah closer and asked, How did you learn all this, son? I work at night in my grandfather's garage. While opening old motors, pumps, and machines, I learned to recognize their sound. He said that every machine has its own unique tone when it runs, and when that tone changes, that's when you understand where the problem is. This touched James deeply. He realized that real skill doesn't come from degrees. It comes from understanding and hard work. A senior engineer admitted for the first time, We've been looking at the machine like a computer all these days, but this kid understood it like a living thing. Noah, today you didn't just save the machine. You saved our company's future. Where even big engineers gave up, you showed courage. Another engineer stepped forward and said, Sir, what we couldn't do in 12 days, this boy did in 12 minutes. Sir, after checking the CCTV footage, we found out that the tampering with the machine was done by one of our own employees. That person was working with a rival company and wanted to damage the project. Hearing this, anger appeared on James's face. But at the same time, there was pride that a poor boy had exposed the truth. Right then he said to Noah, From today, you are our company's special technical assistant. Your education, your mother's treatment, everything will be our responsibility. Tears came to Noah's eyes. For the first time, he saw his dream coming true. It felt like his life was starting to change. That same evening, James reached Noah's house, completely different from the shine and glamour of the factory. Noah's house was squeezed into a small room. Inside, Seema, Noah's mother, was sitting on the bed. Her face was weak, but the moment she saw her son, strength of motherly love came into her eyes. She asked softly, Noah, son, is everything okay? Yes, Mom, everything is fine now. Both the machine and our life. James stepped forward and bowed to Seema. There was no arrogance of a boss in his voice now, only the humility of a human being. He said, Ma'am, your son was born with great talent. If our factory is running today, it's only because of him. You have given him very good values. Seema's eyes became moist. In a trembling voice, she said, Sir, I only taught him one thing, that there is no religion greater than hard work. Within just a few weeks, Seema's treatment began at the city's biggest hospital. The doctors assured that she would recover slowly. For the first time, Seema felt that her son was not just her support. He was the biggest reward of her struggle. A few months later, Noah got admission into one of the country's most prestigious technical institutes, where once he wasn't even allowed to stand at the gate and look at the machines. Today, the same factory was seeing him as one of its most special team members. Now Noah could be seen standing among the machines every day. Before, he used to learn by watching them from far away, and now he operated and understood them with his own hands. His hard work and understanding made him an example for every engineer in the company. James often watched him working from the window of his office. There would be a light smile of pride on his face, and only one thought came to his mind. Talent has no home, no clothes, no status. The day it gets recognized, that very day it writes history. Friends, sometimes life throws us down so that we can rise even higher. Noah's story teaches us exactly this, that talent, hard work, and truth are greater than any situation. If you like this story, please make sure to share it with your friends, because somewhere out there, another Noah might be waiting for his recognition.